Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are taking a fascinating look at the absolute most crucial final step of audio production. We're tracking a song's journey from a raw, unfinished mix to a radio-ready master, using the technical guidelines, insights, and workflow directly from the experts over at McCartney Studios.
You know the exact feeling we're talking about, right? You spend hours upon hours perfecting a track, and it sounds absolutely massive on your studio monitors. But the second you take it out to your car, it suddenly sounds weak, muddy, or the low end just completely falls apart. It's literally an endlessly frustrating experience for creators. Well, the ultimate solution to that very specific problem is professional mastering.
Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for today. We'll be hitting 1. The magic of mastering. 2. Competing with the pros. 3. Preparing your audio files. 4. The importance of metadata. And 5. The submission process. This is our step-by-step guide to get you completely ready before you hit submit.
Section 1. The magic of mastering, or putting the finishing touches on your audio. Now, mastering can sometimes feel like a bit of a mysterious dark art, but at its core, it's simply the absolute final stage of audio production. It's the process of enhancing the overall sound, creating consistency, and getting it ready for worldwide distribution. Basically, if mixing is about balancing individual instruments, mastering looks at the entire sonic picture as a whole. It elevates those sonic characteristics by adjusting overall levels, applying stereo enhancement so the mix sounds wide and full, and carefully monitoring for any distracting clicks, pops, or harsh frequencies. The ultimate goal here, and this is a core philosophy right on the McCartney Studios site, is to make your music radio-friendly. And hey, that doesn't just mean pop music. It means achieving a polished, super clean sound that's perfectly optimized for any listener, anywhere. You're taking your raw art and finally giving it that undeniable professional sheen. Moving right along to Section 2, competing with the pros, why your project needs this final layer. Think about your target formats for a second. We're talking earbuds, car stereos, streaming services like Spotify, broadcast media, and even vinyl. Your audience usually isn't listening in a perfectly treated acoustic studio. They're on the subway with cheap earbuds, or they're blasting a booming car stereo, or they're listening through highly compressed streaming algorithms. Mastering carefully adjusts the loudness, tonal balance, and dynamics so your sound stays cohesive and translates perfectly across every single one of those playback systems. Ultimately, you want to stand out and actually compete with commercial productions. Whether you're dropping a debut single, a full-length album, a podcast, or an audiobook, professional mastering gives you the quality control you need to match that finished, heavy-hitting sound consumers are used to hearing every day on TV and the radio. It levels the playing field, for sure. Section 3. Preparing your audio files, setting the technical foundation. Now, what's really interesting here is how incredibly strict the technical rules are, but it's for a very good reason. McCartney Studios demands lossless, full-resolution audio. You need to provide your mix in its native sample rate with 24-bit or 32-bit float depths, strictly in a WAV format. MP3s, on the other hand, are lossy and are emphatically not recommended. In fact, they explicitly warn you to avoid mastering mixes in lossy formats like MP3s at all costs. You literally cannot master what isn't there, and MP3s strip away essential audio data just to save file size. You've got to preserve that audio integrity. I really want to anchor this number in your mind, 44. To ensure the absolute best possible quality of mastering, your audio source file must be a minimum of 44 kilohertz and 16-bit in that WAV format. If you send in anything less than that, you are severely handicapping the final product before the mastering engineer even opens the file. Section 4. The importance of metadata. Tagging your tracks for success. McCartney Studios requests some specific metadata right at the very beginning of the mastering stage. Your artist name, the song or album name, and the exact track listing. It sounds so simple, but you'd be shocked by how many creators forget this vital step. So the crucial point is that providing this track listing and metadata upfront ensures a cohesive musical flow and highly accurate archiving. Knowing the exact sequence beforehand allows the engineer to maintain a really smooth flowing session, especially for a full-length album where that sonic transition between, say, track 3 and track 4 is incredibly important. Plus, proper metadata ensures accurate documentation on your end, which helps avoid any major archiving headaches down the line. And finally, Section 5, the submission process, completing your transaction with McCartney Studios.
The pricing structure here is wonderfully straightforward. The initial audio calibration and first track setup is $199. That covers the initial studio setup to really dial in your specific sonic profile. Once you have purchased that required bass service, any additional tracks in that same session are just $99 each. And this brilliantly illustrates how simple the actual process is to get the work done. Just 3 easy steps. Step 1, you send your high-resolution track via WeTransfer, Dropbox, or a similar service. Step 2, McCartney Studios downloads it and runs it through their professional mastering suite. And Step 3, you receive the perfectly polished track back for your final approval. That is the entire procedural workflow of your track's journey. There is a slightly quirky tip straight from their website regarding the checkout process that you should know. If you're on a desktop, the checkout cart is right there at the top right of your browser. But if you're on a mobile device, you actually need to rotate your phone to landscape mode to access the cart. It's a tiny detail, but knowing it saves you from clicking around in frustration when you're just trying to finalize your order. We've covered the why, the how, and the strict technical requirements for taking your music from the bedroom monitor straight to the broadcasting tower. So I'll leave you with this final provocative question. Is your next release truly ready for the radio? Take a hard look at your mix, double-check those file formats, and seriously consider giving your art the professional mastering it deserves to stand out and compete with the pros. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep creating.